Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to another show, another episode of Walking with a Master. We have, two premium and pristine masters here that I'm going to share with you. Let me first just say that I am Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad, also known as and formerly known as Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, and I'm coming to you. This show is dedicated to the legacy of Dr. Moses Powell, and you will get an opportunity to hear from a couple of masters that have, a history with Doc and around Doc and through Doc all the way, and you'll see, and they're going to share with you. So listen, without any further delay, I want to introduce Professor Stone and Professor Herlock. Let's give them, our attention. All right. Welcome, family. How you all doing?
We're fine. Us, us.
Man, it's great to see you all. It's great to see you all. Haven't had a chance to really see you all, man. We used to see each other all the time back in the day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go into your life. We want to walk with you. As I said, it's about legacy, right? So legacy is not saying that something started with you. In fact, it is better to know that it didn't start with you, but you are part of a line that is very long. So we have, what we talk about is VSK. Well, what is VSK? VSK is Vijitute under and produced by, founded by Grand Professor Florendo Visitacion, or Supreme Grand Master Florendo Visitacion, and his student, Dr. Moses Powell, primarily, that's someone who has done some incredible things and produced some incredible masters. And we also have the K, the K, which is Kumite Jiu-Jitsu under and produced by Soke Little John Davis. So without any further delay, I want to get to you. So we want to talk about the legacy, where you came from. We had a previous show a few weeks ago, a few weeks ago, and we had, Professor Byron Herlock there, and we were looking and waiting on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're waiting.
I'm here now.
He's here now. Thank you, Professor Herlock, for making sure that we got our brother, that we can share his testimony and his life as well as yours continuously. Yes, so here we go. And I want to go right to you, Professor Stone. Tell me your history. Tell me something about your history. And I know Professor Herlock is he's right there with you. So if it's something you miss, he's going to bring it out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. As much as possible. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, my history is, I started with Grandmaster Robert Crossan, Sugaroo. That's where I started. I started off, I brought my son to Sugaroo, and I was sitting there watching the class, and I enjoyed it so much, I joined myself. And I stayed in, and he quit. And I worked with Professor Michael Black, Sensei Simpson was one of my instructors, and Grandmaster Yehuda was another one of my instructors. So we all worked very hard. I was very hard. I was like 34 years old when I first started in the martial arts. I was freshly out of the service. I was in the military for 4 years, and I just enjoyed it, and everybody enjoyed. I love to work hard, and that's what Master Sugar used to do. He used to work us hard, and I became so good that they put me on his team where we would travel, and we went everywhere. I mean, Caribbean, we did the whole Caribbean. where we would do different places we would do, and we would teach there. We would stay sometime for a week or longer. And we would work out. He was like my brother, and I learned so much from all of them, really. And different places we would go, everybody would call me Big Stone. Now, Brother Stone. They called me Brother Stone and called him Big Mike. As a matter of fact, we would go so much, they would see him and call him Stone, see me and call me Mike. That's how close we were. And stories I could tell is tremendous stories. But once I got to a certain level, Grandmaster Crossan allowed me to work with, to go to Snooker's Route, and I really appreciate that. And I was worked directly with Doc and everyone. I was with Doc, actually training for 14 years with Doc. And we got so close that he would call me up to come over to his house. And on Sundays, I would go over and we would just talk. And believe it or not, it wasn't martial arts. We would just talk about life. And Gina would be cooking some fried chicken, and we would eat and we would talk. And he wanted to know more about me, and I let him know a lot about me that I don't really talk about. And he would say everybody that comes to see him and talk with him, they want to talk martial arts, but he just wanted to talk everyday stuff. And he would explain to me how he loved football. And we would talk football because he knew I loved football. He said, I can tell the way you move when you do your techniques are so rough, like you playing ball. And he said, that takes me back when I was a kid in high school and I played ball. And we would talk, and he wanted to know about me in the military. And of course I wouldn't give but so much. And then he invited someone over one day, and this brother, I don't remember his name, but we got to talking and we found out he was stationed in Vietnam at the same place I was stationed, around about the same time. That was in the Central Highlands. And we had a conversation and Doc was just listening. I could talk to him close. I would take him different places and whatever, and I would go to his house just about every Sunday. And then we would watch, he loved to watch cartoons. And we would watch the cartoons, and then my legs were always weak, but he would show me techniques that strengthened my hands, my arms. And there were certain techniques he showed. He said, these are techniques you cannot practice, because if you practice, somebody's gonna get hurt. So he broke down the technique, because you'll see the technique and think it's nothing. But if you just put a little pressure to it, the pain that you would feel, and if you really snap the technique, you would injure the person. And I appreciate him showing that to me. And then we got in touch with Herlock. He wanted Herlock to come all the way from upstate on Saturdays. I would call Herlock up and say, look, the doc called, he wants you to come. I want you to meet me over to his house. And we would be over there just talking and discussing everything.
They dragged me in, man. They dragged me in.
We would discuss stuff. Oh, and when Doc would come to Sugar Root Dojo, he would work with me. He wouldn't work. He might work with somebody else, but he worked real easy with them. He locked me and he'll throw me, and I'll be laughing, and he laughing. Meanwhile, he still got the lock on. And it would be painful, but I just appreciate it because it was different. What it was different, I don't know. And then when I came down to Worlds Collide, where we would work out, the way you let us come in, and it was really nice. And we felt at home. And working with your brother, Chris, a Chris fan. But anyway, we used to work out so hard, and I just enjoyed it to the max.
He loves Chris.
That's
He
beautiful.
talk about your brother all the time.
Man.
The stuff that we learn, without knowing you learn certain stuff. In days we didn't have mats, and we would work out. Professor Bill said, "You know, Stone, this is some stuff that we can't even show other people." And Professor Black would always get me pumped up. He'll do a technique. We ain't got no mats on the floor. And then no throwing. And of course, he's gonna put me upside down in the air. And then he'll greet out. And he said, he sent Professor Bill over. He said, "Professor Bill, you work with Professor Bill?" I said, "I'm not working with him, not now." And Grandmaster Kane would come and we would work out. Now these are all masters. And if we get warmed up, somebody gonna get knocked out. And that's just the way the workout went. But nobody.
Somebody did get knocked out.
Well,
It's like 2 or 3 seconds.
Well, Professor Kane, I got a little loose and I was moving a little quick, and I knew I hit him and he went down, and I said, "Uh-oh, he knocked out." And he hit the floor and
I think
came up.
he came down with that elbow and that was it.
And the thing was that we would work out hard that way, and we wouldn't hurt, we wouldn't injure each other, but we was working out hard. And no one never got upset, no one never got angry. Matter of fact, after the workout, we would go eat breakfast. And
they love to eat.
It was just it was just something that we don't have now. We don't have that now. As a matter of fact, you can't even teach your kids the way I taught my kids. And Grandmaster Crossan gave me the bow staff. I like his bow staff kata. He was a 3-section man, but we did a bow staff kata now. And I would teach my kids, the ones that were able to learn that bow staff kata. You get to them a little at a time, and it takes time. People think you can come in and you can learn in 1 year. No, I got too much to give.
That's right.
And it takes 2 or 3 years for them. And when they do get it, they teach me. I'll show them something and they'll do it. And I'll say, "Wow, that's amazing." I said, "I don't think I can do that." And we would go back and forth. Doc said, "Each one teach one." That's a true saying. Because I'm constantly learning now stuff that I didn't know. So it's a process that never stops. And you have to teach the kids not just the kicking and the punching, but how to live their life.
Yes.
And I used to go to the school to check out my kids, how they act in the school. And their grading, that was a part of their grading. And in the summertime, they had to read a book. And when they came back during the summer, they had to give a book report. They had to know how to talk in front of people. So I just enjoyed it, and Doc would really enjoy how I would teach the kids. And whenever there was a seminar I had at my school, Doc would always say, "Stone, you take the kids." And I would teach the kids, and they would come up, and when they would do something, Doc looked at me and just bow his head. So it was just amazing that a lot of people said how Doc was, but he was different with me. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I was an older person, I don't know. But we had a different relationship, and I could talk to him, and I wouldn't bite my tongue, and he knew I wasn't going to bite my tongue, but he didn't bite his tongue, and it was a very, very good relationship I had with Doc. And it's the good relationship I had with Sugar, Grandmaster Crossan. We became friends. I mean, and I don't know, we all had a good relationship. And I just enjoyed martial arts. And everything I do is martial arts now. I mean, the way I walk down the street, how you check your back. We always say, watch your back. But how many people actually walk down the street and check their back? You have to do that constantly, especially today. I don't know what's wrong with the younger people. I don't know why they don't respect the value of life. And if you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anything else. So there's a need for good martial arts instructors, for good men to teach these young boys. It's not about the fight. It's about fighting without fighting. How can you disarm a person without even putting a hand on how you talk to a person? So, but martial arts it's a way of life with me now. My son tells me, Daddy, the only thing you talk about is the military and martial arts. I said, what are you talking about? And, but it's a part of my life. And I remember when I opened, I had the second school up on Nostrand Avenue. I had everybody, I won't say everybody, but a lot of martial artists would come and we would film on what they would do. The guys from Hillside, New Jersey, let them perform. I let, of course, Hassan Khalid, my brother, we real tight, and let him just do his thing, and we would put it all on tape. And Olsen said, Lou Farrar, I've been knowing forever. And Lou was like, wow. And I would just tape them, and a lot of stuff we have and a lot of stuff I don't have. Professor Crossan, we would go everywhere. We went to California when we did our tapes, training tapes. People thought it was going to take us a week to do it. We could have did it in one day, but we did it in 2 days. And we met, Professor Black used to work with Eddie Murphy. We went to Eddie Murphy's house and stayed with Eddie Murphy for a whole week when he made the movie Harlem Nights. We was right on the set, and I was working out with him and let him throw me. We were showing him something. We went to Arsenio Hall show, met Arsenio. It was just, it just blew my mind to see someone working, a Black man with that much power was just, I'm from Alabama, so you didn't see that. And it was eye-opening, very. And the people that we met, and I tell people, some of the stars we met, nobody believed it, but I don't go into it trying to prove it. But when he came back, when Eddie came back to New York, we still stayed in contact with him. And when his uncle had the club in Long Island, we would all go down there and we would work the door and what have you. But the relationship that we had with these people was incredible. We sat at their table and ate with them, and all because of the martial arts. So the martial arts can take you places that you won't even think about. And it's just incredible. And the different martial artists that we met it's just incredible. And you'll pull something from each one of them. Professor Remy Pierce, he did the sticks and the knife fighting. The stuff that we learned from him is, I mean, how to disarm a person with a stick. It sounds like it's simple, but you don't have fear somebody come with you with a bat, a stick, or something like a knife. Please, you just walked into, you don't know what. And it's just the people that you learn, Professor Wally J, you meet these people a number of times because we go on, we do different tournaments with these people, and we go to, Professor Cross would put on shows and all these people will be there and they all remember you. Oh, hi Stone, how you doing? And it was just mind blowing. And we owe it all to Doc, because if it was no Doc, there wouldn't have been no crossing. No crossing, there wouldn't have been no Stone. So it's just incredible. And the young people, they don't know who we are. So like Professor Bill said, we have to leave them something so they could carry on what we done. So it's
Well,
just
let me ask you this. In fact, let me kind of go over to Professor Herlock and tell us. I mean, he's right next to you. You know, tell us about your being with Stone, Professor Stone, and whatnot. Tell us about him.
Well, I got to tell you, when I met Professor Stone, as I said in the interview I did a couple of weeks ago, I was looking to get back into snooker because my instructor, Soki Kane McQueen, he got married and moved to Mount Vernon. And so I said, what am I going to do now? And he said, here, take down this number and call this person. And so I did, and that wound up being Robert Sugar Carson. And so I got the address, I came down, and because my intentions were to join. I mean, my instructor is recommending this person. There's no doubt in my mind that, you know, he thinks highly of that person as well. I walked in the dojo, I think it was on Clarkson, right?
right, yeah, that's
On Clarkson. And there had to be like 80, a minimum of 80 students in there. It's not that it's a big place, you know, it's an apartment building on the first floor, like a storefront place, but it's totally emptied out. So there's not 2 or 3 rooms, there's no walls up except the office in the back. And everybody was sweating. And of course, I walk in the door and there's Professor Stone. I think he was a first-degree black belt at the time, right? And he comes up and I tell him, you know, I'm a student of Soki James McQueen. And he recommended I come down here and check out your dojo. And Professor Stone said, do you remember that?
yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Tell the truth, brother.
Yeah,
anyhow,
I remember.
So anyhow, what I want to get to is that this brother was like, were you 295 or 305?
I was the 3. I was close to 3.
I'm just going to round it off. He said, this is a 300-pound guy. And he comes up there walking, his shoulders going left and right. He got his gi on and he's leading the class. I think somebody else took over so he can address this stranger who walked in the door. And he leans over to me and with a high-pitched voice, coming out, this big fella. He said, how you doing? My name is Sensei Stone. I'm a student of, and then from that point on, everything was about Grandmaster Carson. He was telling me that he's a 6th-degree black belt and he's been training, you know, under Dr. Moses Powell, the student, et cetera, et cetera. He's not here today, but if you come back tomorrow or whenever the next session was, then you know, you can meet him. And that's how it all started. So that's how I met Professor Stone. So
yeah, I remember.
And I was walking in the dojo. I was a third dan already in my systems. And you know, the following day, I came in, and that's when I introduced myself to you know, Grandmaster Robert Carson. And you know, he was telling me, okay, you know, you can come into the dojo, and but I have one of my mandates is that you must start from a white belt again. And I told him, I'm just here to train. All I want to do is train, and the belt doesn't mean anything to me, to tell you the truth. And so Professor Stone was the only one who knew that I trained previous, and my a little bit about my background, because of that first day we came in and we had a conversation. And so you know, through it was just a matter of time though. Once I got on the mat, people saying, it looked like he knows a little something, you know. But that's something that Professor Stone kept to himself, because in a way I wanted that, and I knew that Robbie Carson just wanted to feel me out to see how I was as well. But I got to tell you that our journey, Professor Stone and mine, and Professor Black, and eventually, I think a year later, you guys really got to know Sophie McQueen, Sophie
Right.
Kane McQueen, my first jiu-jitsu instructor,
Yes.
and all four of us. Let me see, one,
Yeah.
two, three, four of us together like thick and thin.
Yeah.
All those years, and you were with Black all the time.
Yeah.
When we did our techniques or demonstrations or tournaments, even most of the time working out, and I was with Sophie Kane.
Right.
Because I mean we've been together for years prior to that anyhow. And ever since then, and Professor Stone, Sophie Kane, and Black, if he was still alive, we still be together like that.
That's right.
That's the soul. But
just mentioning Black, I gotta take a moment as well. He was, first of all, I seen you all were always rolling together and coming through and all of that good stuff. And Black, Professor Black, he was someone that he always liked to look like Doc.
Yes.
he would move, and he would do things, that reminded me when I was, really young, when we were young boys. And, Doc used to walk. Now, as you see, Doc had those arms and whatnot. Now, his reason for his arms being out there is because he had wings. But our acting like him, we're bringing our arms out as though we need, like it was like we had wings and had none. But
yes.
the point, but I really liked to see you all when you came through, and Black was just, he was just wonderful, and how y'all worked together, techniques that you all did. I mean, I just wanted to show my gratitude and appreciation to all of you as to how you presented yourselves. So let me ask this. In terms of Grandmaster Robert Crossan, he took you all many places, as you said.
Yes, sir.
And you got a chance to meet people and that you probably would never have met because of the martial arts and his carrying you and taking you with him. What would you say to him if he were listening, in terms of your gratitude for what he did for you?
I would tell him I appreciated everything that he done for me and gave me and taught me. Even when he wasn't teaching, he was teaching. And the places that we went, it's funny, he started relying on me. Stone, what skit should we do now? What skit should we do now? And I would say, well, we'll do this skit or we'll do that skit. And I said, well, look, sir, don't give them too much. Leave the crowd wanting more.
With their tongue hanging out.
Leave them wanting more. Because he would go on and on and on and on. I said, just give them just enough so we can come back. And he would always make up, people wouldn't believe, but we would make up stuff in the hotel room before we go out to do something different. Everybody used to love the subway scene, but we did. We went to I think we was in D.C. Yeah, we was in Washington D.C. and we wanted to do a technique in do a skit in slow motion. I said, sir, how you gonna throw me and I'm gonna fall out the air in slow motion? And I said, how we gonna roll in slow motion? And we practiced a few times before we went out. And we did this thing how someone would see us that might have been a little high, a little drunk, how they would see the fight. We started the fight off fast and start moving in slow motion. And we taped it, and it was so funny how it came out when we saw the tape. People actually thought the tape was in slow motion. So his mind was so creative. Who would even create, who would think you could do something like that? And of course, when we would do shows, we would come out not in regular gis. We would wear satin gis, sparkling gis. I remember when we did the Apollo Theater, and I'm saying, man, these people don't laugh at us. We coming out here with all the sparkle stuff. And when we came out, they said, "Oh, here come the Supremes," because we had the glitter and stuff on. You got at the Apollo. Then they said, "Oh no, that's the circus." You could hear people yelling. And when Men Black came out, they said, "Oh, here come the elephants." And they was just laughing. But once we started moving, it was totally different. And we just won the crowd over. And it was just what he taught us, regardless of what other people might think you look like. But once you start doing what you do, it's totally different. So that's what he gave to me, that no matter how hard it looks, but if you put in the time, you can do it. But you have to put in the time. You got to work hard. And we would work until 11 o'clock at night in the dojo on one or two techniques. And no more than that technique, over and over and over and over. So you can imagine how many times you have to do that technique in 2 or 3 hours. And if you're not in shape, you can't even do the technique. So the most important thing is to be in shape. And that's what he gave to me. And that's what I gave my children. You know, your endurance is your insurance. And if you don't have the endurance, you know, you're the only one can stop yourself from being whatever it is you want to be in life. Because if you stop, then it's not going to happen. Nobody else can stop you. So that's what he gave to me. And we became real good friends, because we became good friends. But being a martial artist, a lot of stuff, you know how martial artists are. But that's life. But I love every minute, every second that I was with him. And you see him, they would see me, that first thing people say, "How Sugar is doing?" So I'm bound to him forever. And the people who know, the martial artists know how I was with the doc, they would say, "Yeah, man, I know you and Doc was close." And some people say, "Well, I didn't know y'all was that close like that." I said, "We had a different relationship." And he would say, like Christmas, not Christmas, when his birthday, people would give him gifts. And he would tell me, "I'm tired of people giving me knives and stuff. Give me something from their heart. I'm just tired of weapons. I'm tired of martial arts weapons." And so it was just a different relationship that I had with him. I seen him as my friend. Now, he was my friend. I respected him to the utmost, but he was my friend. But people didn't know that. But when I was around other people, I wouldn't show that. I wouldn't show that. Like Professor Bill, he knew. Hassan knew. They knew how we were. But only a few people that was close and was around us constantly. Doc would put me in some type of stance and make me stand there. I'm like, oh, it would be killing me. But I would stay there. I said, I'm not going to be the first one to give up.
Right.
And that was I would just do it. He knew it would be killing me. And he'd walk away and look back. And he would be with, I call the three amigos. It was Doc, Cofield, and what was the?
Was it Young?
No, Now, Young was something else too, but it was, oh God, I can't remember his name right now. But it was three of them, and they were real, very, very close. And we would go to Mataka Bass School, and we would work out there. And it was just different. These men that I'm working with, that people are looking up. These guys knew martial arts in the 50s. That nobody, that word didn't even exist in America. Didn't exist in my life. And they knew martial arts. We didn't know. The only thing we knew was judo. But it was just incredible. I mean, the way they pulled me in, I appreciate that. I was born in Alabama in 46, and it was just a different life. And I was blessed to leave and then come to New York, and just a new world of friendship that I learned. And this was with different men that were men, different type of men than the type of men, everyday men I grew up with in the South. And I really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
What
Now, what about that time when you were going downstairs when roads collide, and we were walking downstairs, and the doc was down there, and the way he recognized you right away? You remember that?
Oh,
hey, who's that coming down the stairs? I'll tell you. You go ahead and tell the story.
No, you tell the story. You tell the story. Go ahead.
Oh man.
Oh.
He knew exactly who it was. He said, "Who's that coming downstairs with a hole in his apple?"
I didn't want to give up my phone. And he said, "You got a moon back there, brother. Give it up. Cut it all off. Cut it all off."
And to this day, I still remember that. And since my hair's growing thinner, I said, "Man, I'm just going to cut my hair down low so someone looks like I got a hole in my apple."
Yeah. And he would always be on me like that, but it was just friendship. That was friendship,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
something that this man I respect, and when he called me up for demonstration, he did the demonstration. I mean, he wouldn't ease up because we were friends. He done the technique the way the technique was, and it wasn't that I would go with him. Matter of fact, he was the second person that ever knocked me down without going a little bit. Professor V was the first at Sugaroo Dojo. This little man came and he was working with me, and he threw me. And I looked up at him like, how this little man throw me? And I didn't go. I wasn't ready to go, and I was in the air. And that was amazing to me. And the first time Doc knocked me down, we was in Hell's Dojo. We had a dojo we called Hell Dojo. I wasn't taking no hostage. Everybody had to die.
It used to be a numbers place before Robert Carson rented it out.
Yeah.
And so they had no windows, no back door, only one way in, the same way out. And it was no circulation. Oh yeah.
And Doc came, he did a technique on me, and he knocked me down. I mean, he knocked me down. And I turned and I looked up, and Mike must have seen my face, and he rolled up and he said, "Oh, sir, I got it." And I said, "Why he done that?" He said, "He just done the technique." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So you have to know people, and you have to be humble. But I wasn't used to anybody actually knocking me down. I wasn't even ready. Even with Professor V, I was like, man. And I remember Professor V told me I shouldn't throw a punch with my fist closed because I stopped my energy. I never learned the technique to do that. And I wasn't around him enough to question him. But I did go to his school quite a bit. When Professor Lou Farrar was the head instructor at that time, Professor Black used to take me over there. We would go and visit different dojos. Matter of fact, first time I visited your dojo was when you was at the high school. in the basement, and we would
Magnificent.
go down there. Right, yes. So he would take me to different places so people knew who I was. That was before I was even a black belt. And but in Shuru Dojo, green belt, you go look at the other schools, they would tell us, oh, you would be a black belt in my school. That's what my school, I ain't nothing but a green belt. And that's just the way you got promoted once a year. You went up for, well, the word is you would go up for grading for once a year. You wouldn't necessarily be promoted. You might fail the promotion. And I appreciate that because you earned everything that you had. So,
That's
and you know what you know. So the belt really didn't mean anything. In my mind, the belt didn't mean anything. It's what you know. He said, it's not us dojo, us defense. It's not self-defense. It's not dojo defense. It's not we defense. It's self-defense. It's what you know. If you doubt yourself, then you have already lost the fight. And that's the way you should look at life. If you want to be a success in life, you can't doubt yourself. Go for it. Even if you fail the first time, you do it again. You go again. Whatever, how many times it takes for you to reach what you want, then that's what it takes. So you do it. When I opened the school over on Nostrand Avenue, it was like 7, 8 years before I got in that location where I wanted. But we kept that dojo for about 4 or 5 years over there. And I had to close that dojo up in 2008. 2008, my daughter got sick. But it's just, whatever it is in life you want, you got to put the effort. And martial arts is a way of you challenging, having your brain, your mind challenged to do whatever it is you want in life. And everybody look at the punching and kicking. That's just a part of it. That's not the whole story. The whole story is conditioning your mind to reach the goal you want in life. So I appreciate that from everyone that I came in contact with under Sanuka's rule, under Vijitsu, under Shuru, because we are one family.
Mm-hmm. Now, how about that time when Professor Black volunteered you to be the Uki for the doc?
Oh,
tell me about that time.
Oh, we was on Atlantic and we was downtown, and we was getting ready to sit down, and Doc wanted somebody to come and be the Uki. As I was sitting down, I almost sit down, Mike pushed me forward, and Doc started laughing. I'm stumbling, trying not to be the first guy, and so he done the techniques on me. But it was just funny. Well, Mike would do that. He would always make me first, and we would laugh about it. And Mike was like my brother. He was in my house more than I was in my house. Every Christmas he ate dinner with us. Thanksgiving he ate dinner, and 4th of July he would be here. And his mother didn't even realize that he was here on those days. For years he was that way. So I miss him so much. Oof.
It's really beautiful. The martial artist's life is full, you know. There's the life in the dojo, there's the life outside the dojo.
Yes.
We have so much that we can give, and I'm thankful that I got an opportunity to hear your lives, in the martial arts and some outside of it. But I really appreciate that. I also want to congratulate you, both of you, for your promotion or your position of rank and whatnot. And you, Professor Wood, Professor Stone, you got an opportunity to be given rank by Grand Master Robert Crossan just recently, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. But you know, everybody was calling me Grandmaster for the last 3 years anyway. And I would always correct them, I'm not a Grandmaster, but the Grandmaster is how you carry yourself.
Come on.
That's what it is. So you reach that goal when people see it in you.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And everybody saw it in you, brother.
That's it. That's it. Well, listen, family, I thank you for your time, for sharing, and listen, everybody out there, you're getting, you know, continue to tune in to our show. Continue to tune in to the show where you get an opportunity to hear from masters such as these brothers that I have on today. I thank you all again. Go to the official Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad YouTube channel. And again, I thank you all for being present, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Brothers, thank you for all that you've done.
Yes, sir.
Great interview, great conversation, and I'm always edified by what I hear, and I appreciate you two greatly. Again, us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Every student of a master here today, you reflect your master teacher. You want to walk like him. You want to talk like her. But you start by having an object in front of you that you admire.